Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make this adorable bag. Now, these are super cool because you open them up and you have zipper pouches. You can get these zipper pouches from the Dollar Tree, Amazon, anything like that. You can store your cat treats in there. Anyways, it's a really, really easy pattern to make, and then sewing in these plastic zipper pouches is pretty easy also. So it's a fun, quick craft project to do over the weekend, and I guarantee you, you're going to have fun picking out different patterns of fabric for this. So let's get started, and I'm going to show you what you need. Let's get stitching. Okay, so to get started, we have our quilted piece of fabric about a quarter of a yard, or actually a half a yard would be much better. You could probably squeeze it into a quarter of a yard, but a half a yard is much better. So actually, I had 2 different pieces of cotton and then I had some batting. So I actually just did a very quick quilting of my own. I just did a straight stitch all the way down every 3 inches to just make a very basic quilt pattern on this fabric, because I really liked this kitty fabric, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this pink would be really cute. So what we're gonna do is actually move it to the side also, because we want to save as much as we can for the handle to save, because if you have a half a yard, you can get 2 bags out of it instead of 1. So we're going to utilize all the fabric that we have. So you're going to get your pattern, and this pattern is going to be available on my Etsy shop, so feel free to check that out. But you're going to and you know what, I'm at this point where I really need to change out the blade on my rotary. That is so bad. But everybody gets lazy, right? Is it not just me? No, it made me go crooked. Shoot. Okay. We gotta bring in the scissors because okay, so let's just cut around. And this is going to allow for about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can do half an inch seam allowance if that's what you typically do. You're just going to want to make sure that the zipper pouches that you purchase to put in your bag are on the smaller side if you're going to be doing a half an inch seam allowance, or just cut it a bit bigger. So now that we have our quilted pattern cut out, it was cut on the fold, as you can see the pattern says that. And then what you're going to want to do is mark where you see your letters. Now, on this particular one, you actually only need to mark where you have B. And you don't need to worry about the other letters. Only the B. The other letters is if you're going to be putting in a pin cushion and a little pocket. But in this one, I'm doing this just for the zipper pouches. But I can make another video if you guys want, and let me know if you do want it, on how to do it with the pin cushion in it and then the pocket as well. So now that we have our B marks marked on our fabric, we are going to go ahead and get our fabric again, and we're going to cut out 2 of these, which is our handles. So we're going to use same fabric, and we're going to cut out 2. So the other one, we only cut out 1, and it was on the fold. And then this one, we're cutting out 2. pinning it and making it perfect, but with this quick and easy bag, it doesn't hurt. So that's why I'm just like, okay, we go off by like an 8 to 10 inch. Stacked these on top of each other so that way we can have 2 of them. And then what I'm going to do is just put this quilted piece of fabric away and then make another one. And what I might do on that second one, I might actually make it with the pocket and the pin cushion, and that would be really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this. And here is where we're also going to make our marks for our beads. So that way we know where we're going to connect our handles to our bag. And like I said, it's not super crazy important. It's basically this in the center of your handle, so you're going to be fine if you don't mark it exactly perfect. Okay, so now that we got those cut out, our next step excuse me, is going to be actually putting on our binding. Now, there's a couple options. You can either buy binding or you can make binding by measuring out the length or the circumference of this whole bag, including, let's see, around the whole bag, and then by 2.5 inches. So if we start here, because I think what I want to do on this one is I actually I want to, let's just do 60. So we're going to do 60 inches by 2.5 because I want it to be with this really cute fabric. I think it'll be fun. So I'm going to get more of my fabric, and I'm going to cut out a strip that is 2.5 inches wide by 60 inches long. And then after we do that, okay, so I'm just going to actually first, what I'll actually do is just whatever this one is, just 2. Oh, cashew is going to come. It's like, I'm gonna knock my camera over like usual. Okay, now this fabric is just the fabric. This is not the quilted piece that I did. So, okay, so then for the binding, what we're gonna do is go to our iron, and we're gonna iron it with the wrong sides together. So that way our binding is gonna have our beautiful outside. And then what you're going to do is once you've ironed it down, you're going to get it and you're going to put raw sides of your binding to the raw sides of your entire bag. And you're going to go around and straight stitch all the way around, okay? And when you get back to this spot, you just tuck it in nicely and make it look good. So I'm going to have to cut one more strip of this because I don't have 60 inches here. So I'm going to have to cut one more strip of this. And then once you sew it all the way around, you basically turn it out like that and it looks so good. So what I'm going to do is finish cutting out my piece for the binding, and then I'm going to sew, or not sew, but iron my binding in half, right? With the wrong sides together. That way it's ready to go to sew onto here, and then I'll show you where I'm at from there. Okay, so now that I've got my binding all cut out and ironed, I've got the raw edges of my binding to the raw edges of my bag. And now I'm going to go around and I'm going to really, oh gosh, Cash, crochet. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so I've got my raw edges. Sorry, I had it backwards there. Okay, so I've got my raw edges of my binding to the raw edges of the fabric, of the bag. And what I'm gonna do is sew a half or a quarter of an inch from the edge of the bag, and then I'm going to go all the way around. And then once we make it all the way around, we're going to go ahead and iron it and then sew it one more time to finish off this binding. So once I finish this, I will move you back here. But before I cut to the next scene, I want to actually show you when you get to these corners, you can make them look really nice by just folding it, making a pleat whenever you get to a corner, make a pleat, and then sew till you get to the end of that corner. Keep your needle down and then turn your work. So same thing, we're getting close to another corner. And we're just going to manipulate it to where it does a tiny little pleat right in, whoop, too far back, too far back. Right till you get to the edge of your corner. Keep your needle down and turn your work. And just keep going around. And do that until you get all the way around, and then you'll notice that it's going to actually look really nice on your corners. It's going to have this folded, pleated look, which is going to actually be quite professional. So like I said, work your way around, and then once we make our way completely around, we will meet back here, and we're going to go ahead and press it and then continue to sew it the opposite way once we folded it. So I will meet you back here once I get to that point. Okay, so I sewed the binding on, and I went ahead and I ironed it down. And as you can see, this is where we have our pleats whenever we're around a corner. So it looks really nice. And then this corner is where we started from, so I went and got it tucked in and pinned and ready to get started. So now what I'm going to do, if Cashew doesn't knock everything over, I am going to sew. I'm going to just shorten this stitch bit. Okay, now I'm just going to sew all the way around. And I'm just going to go all the way around, making sure to backstitch in the beginning. Sorry, that part was a little thick, so it's loud. Making sure to backstitch in the beginning and the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way around, and then I will show you guys the next step. And we'll go from there. Okay, so now that we have finished sewing around the bag, now we need to sew our handles. So what you're going to want to do is sew them with your good sides together, or the outside of the bag color that you, whoop, or maybe not the good side since both of them are good sides, but the side that you want on the outside of your bag or on the outside of your handles, which is my cat print. I'm going to go ahead and fold those together to kind of make our little, like a tube. And then we're going to do that with both handles. And then once we do that with both handles, we're going to turn it right side out and then attach it to our bag. Okay, so now that we have our handles made, what I did was I pinned them onto my bag right at the spot where the corner is. And I did that on both sides. So now all I'm going to do is just sew them on. And then after I get these sewed on, then we have some adhesive Velcro to put on for the closure, and then we got to sew on the zipper bags as well. Okay, so now that I've sewn the handles on, now what we're going to do is measure in between our handles. So in between mine, it's 4.5. So half of that is 2 1/4 in order to mark where to put our adhesive Velcro. I think what I'm going to do is 3 pieces. They're like squares. So what I'll do is I'll put the middle one right in the center where I marked it. You hear some cleaning in the background. Arts and crafts. Okay, so I've got, hold on, I'm going to finish putting these on and then I'll show you what I did. So I've got the middle one marked right where I had the center of these, and then I just eyeballed those, to be honest. And then what I will do now is make sure when you put the other side of your Velcro that it's actually the other side of the Velcro, right? You have a fuzzy side and then a like harder teeth side. So I'm gonna get my other middle one here, and then what I will actually do is just bring this up. I got this adhesive Velcro from Michael's. It's pretty strong. If you notice it starts to pull away from your fabric at all, just go ahead and just stitch it real quick with your sewing machine. It's not a big deal. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, yeah, so actually, this one, so what I'm going to actually do is after it sits for a while, if it's not holding, I will just do a quick stitch across. Now, the next part is actually finally sewing in our zipper pouches. So I'm going to grab those and show you what to do next. Okay, so here's my zipper pouches. I actually got these ones from the Dollar Tree. I've got, I think what I'm trying to think how many I want to do. I thought I had an even amount. Let me see if my daughter can find the other one. Is there another one of these plasticky type ones over there in that pile? There should be one more. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay, she came through. All right, so I have a total of 6. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to sew 3 on this side of my bag and then 3 on this side, so there's a total of 6. So what I'm going to do is scramble around. All right, I'm going to get my scissors and cut the tags off. These ones are really cool because, well, first of all, they're cheap from the Dollar Tree. Second of all, they're clear. So whatever you're using this bag for, whether it's school supplies, sewing supplies, craft supplies, supplies of like putting markers and pencils and pens and little like papers and stuff, and keeping it in your car or truck so that way when you're driving somewhere your kids have something to do, that's really fun too. But my point was, these clear ones are really nice because whatever you're using it for, you're gonna actually get to see what's in it. And then the Dollar Tree also, no! this one's broken a little. Okay, don't put anything important on that one. The other nice thing is the Dollar Tree sells ones similar to this, but they're not clear. So if you wanted something you can't see through, there's those options too. And I actually did get a few of those, and I'll be making more of these bags and pouches and stuff, depending on what I want to keep in them. But they're really great also for like, if you want to keep a stash of like things you need in your truck or car. Like one can have like Band-Aids, and then the other one can have tissues and hand sanitizer, you know, things like that. It's really fun because you're making it, and they're cute. You can buy any color pattern you like and have fun with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, it looks like I've got 4 of these star heart pattern ones, and then 2 of the stripes. So what I'm going to do is put the stripes in between the 2 patterns to kind of make it even. Alrighty. Whoop. So now what we're going to do is find out how long these are, because every single zipper pouch you buy is going to be different. So that's why we have to like go off of what's here. So 9 3/4. And then we find out, well, actually, you know what's best? If you measure this 9 3/4, find the half mark of that, then your middle of your bag, find out the dimensions of that, and then find the half mark of that. Then mark it here, and pin it there, and then just sew. And then you're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, get them all pinned on, and then I'll meet you back at the sewing machine. Okay, so I've got my center of my zipper pouch marked, and then the center of my bag marked. And now I'm going to go ahead and sew my first pouch in. You can try and layer all 3, but I noticed that they move a lot, just because they are plastic and slippery, right? So take the time to just do one at a time. It'll be worth it. Another really great tip, and you don't have to if you don't want to, or you can, and I'll show you right now, but oh, that's great. I literally just, cashew! I literally just ran out of bobbin thread from them. But you can stagger your zipper pouches so that way they're not all on top of each other. You can stagger them to easily get to them. So that's another really good thing. But I'm going to go ahead and change out my bobbin, finish sewing in the rest of these, and then we're done, and I'll show you the finished product. Meet you back here. So here's the finished product. That was really fun to make. It only took like an hour or 2. It probably took me longer to go to the Dollar Tree and get these zipper pouches, especially when my daughter and I start walking around and like, oh, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. And then that shopping spree ends up being like over an hour. So that was longer than putting this together, but this was super fun. As you can tell, Cashew is loving it. I am going to put his cat treats in here. Like I said, it's great for pens and pencils and papers and stuff to put in your car, Band-Aids, tissues, wipies. I mean, literally anything. These are fantastic. And by having this cute little fabric on the outside, it looks good no matter what you put in it, because the outside is adorable and then the inside is super functional. So I hope you had fun. Please subscribe and like and stay tuned, because there's going to be many more really fun videos like this. I'll see you guys next time.